This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
We are talking netball at the moment with Sasha Glasgow, our West Coast Fever champion. She plays GA, everybody. She's just getting the job done all the time. The West Coast Fever, by the way, are taking on the Giants this Sunday, Sasha.
Hello, guys. Yes, we are.
Sash.
Good morning.
Now, there was nearly 11,000 people watching the game on the weekend against the Thunderbirds.
There was. It was the record crowd for the SSN for this year. They can't even beat it in the grand final. So, yeah, best crowd all year.
That's amazing.
Wow.
It's so great to see. It is really growing, but especially like kids. So many kids are rocking up to your games now as well, and they're really backing all of you guys on the court there. So I always say I have a bit of a complex whenever I meet a netball player because I'm so short.
Sweetheart.
I'm so
But that's
short.
not their
and
fault.
What position were you then, Trace?
I used to play WA actually
WA,
back in the day
okay.
when I was through high school, and then not like goal attack like Sasha is, but I played a friendly with some of the Fever players years ago, and it was just silly. I don't know why I even said
Tracy.
yes. It was so bad. It was so bad.
I was at Greg High's house one night, and he had all the Wildcats over,
Oh, no.
and I felt like you, and I'm 6'3".
Yes, exactly.
I felt like I was the shortest person in the room,
Yes.
and that blows my mind.
That would.
I felt like I was in like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or Gulliver Travels, one of those movies. It was so insane.
Well, Sash, with you being tall, do you heels? Where do you stand on stuff like that?
I am absolutely against heels. I'm a
Really?
flats. I'm the Vans.
don't
I'm the
need
Converse.
to wear them. Yeah.
I wear them and I feel worse because I'm like now I feel like I'm touching the roof.
But wait there, but didn't Nicole Kidman teach all of us to wear heels if you're a tall woman and to make
What,
Tom
embrace it?
Cruise cower in your shadow? Isn't that what she taught us?
She did.
Yeah,
Correct. I feel
yeah.
like I'm letting down Nicole now.
So you're just a flats girl.
Yeah, I wear them for our gala, but I'm lucky my partner's 6'4", so I've got a little bit of a up there. But yeah, normally flats if I can.
How long have you been with your partner for?
A year and a half.
Was that a prerequisite, the height?
Yes.
Couldn't, could you? You just couldn't.
I saw the height and then I took the personality rock, so it was good.
Yeah, you couldn't.
No, you could.
Tick,
Yeah,
tick, tick.
absolutely. On the weekend, you got off to a really great start against the Thunderbirds. 21 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I think it has been similarly in most of the games. Fast starts, but then there's been a moment or two where you've lost momentum and the opposition have been able to get a few long-range goals, but you're able to keep the distance most of the game.
Yeah, so we have notoriously started really well this season. I think it's something that we've probably in previous seasons haven't got off to a great start. So that's something that we've been focusing on. But now I guess our last 30 minutes is probably what's been hurting us, especially our last 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, it's great for us. I think we were up by 11 to the Lightning, and then, yeah, we're up by even 10 or 11 still in the fourth quarter, and then just have like a 3-minute, 5-minute lull, and that can really punish you, especially with the super shot.
So
Yeah.
if your last 30 minutes has been a spot of trouble for you, how is it mentally to get past that knowing the last 30 minutes is coming up in a game? Because you would straight away think, oh no, the wheel's about to fall off.
No, it's true, Nath, yeah.
I think it's trying just to stay to all of our structures, and for us, we talk about this level of perceived pressure and knowing that we actually should be going out there with all the confidence in the world. I mean, we've worked really hard to gain the lead, so why do we feel this pressure? It's something that we've, been working through as a club and as girls and having the right conversations now, so hopefully we can run it through with 4 quarters on the weekend.
And you don't realise how fast the game of netball is as well.
At an elite level.
And elite level. Yeah, we've watched you guys several times, in the box there, and also played with you against you guys as well, which again rubbish. But it's incredible how fast you guys move.
Yeah, I think there's like 120 centre passes in a game. Like when we beat the Firebirds, I think it was still like 160 points. Like they didn't score low either. They almost got 70 points themselves. It was like a 160-point game. It's massive.
Tough to defend these days. That's what that's saying. Hey, growing up and knowing netball, I always thought GA is the go-to position. If you can play GA, you're the champ of the team, right? But it seems like the goal shooter who doesn't have to run around the field, is the one carried off and jeered.
But they get all the glory.
And they get all the glory, the
Yeah.
goal shooter. Are you feeling that these days?
I've played a little bit of both, so I kind of love just being a goalie anyway. Ginny was amazing. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with her, but yeah, she's 6'5". She's from Jamaica. She's amazing. Obviously represents her country, captain. I'm honestly just lucky to play with her, and then sometimes she lets me have my glory in the super shot, and so then I have, my little moment. But yeah, she's incredible.
I tell you what, though, when you think about it, when you think of the mechanics of the game, netball is so much more impressive than basketball because basketball have the backboard.
Yes.
Netball don't have anything.
No,
You've
the shooting's
literally
pure.
got to aim and lob that in perfectly.
Yeah.
But you can't move as well. You know, it's
Yes.
that, you have to have your feet planted, and
Yeah.
it's just like passing, pass, and that's why I was talking about how fast it moves as well.
Yeah.
You don't even know where the ball is really half the time.
You're running at 100 miles an hour, and then you have to come to a screaming halt. So yeah, a little bit dangerous on the
Yeah,
knees sometimes, but it is so fast. And our ability sometimes having those like 2-pass, 3-pass plays, you're scoring in about 4 or 5 seconds.
Yep. Sash, Nathan was just mentioning the shooting, right? And I was watching some of the stuff on the weekend, and the defence is really strong these days. You've got tall girls who are standing their distance and really getting up in your face, but the shots are just going in regardless of the defence a lot of the time. So
What's the point of defence?
Well, how do you stay focused, and what's your process? Everybody has a shooting tip or something. What's yours?
Mine's definitely practicing during the week. We practice against some of the West Coast Fever men training partners, and so they're a lot taller, obviously, and a little bit more athletic, I guess, in that vertical capacity. So I get them to stand even just a little bit closer, so they almost are obstructing every single time, so I'm practicing my shot. And then, just getting to the post, we have like these noodles, like the pool noodles?
Yeah, noodles.
Yeah, so Dan will stand there and wave the pool noodle in my face from about 2 feet away, and I'll just
Shaun's done that to me. It's pretty shocking, isn't it?
I'll put him off one day.
And it's really inappropriate in the workplace.
You just got to get over it. You just got to shoot through it.
Oh, make sure the cameras aren't rolling. That's what I do.
Hey, so the men's netball team and the women's netball team, right? Has there ever been romances in between both? I'm saying this because I've gone out with a mixed netballer and I know how full on going out with a male netballer can be.
No, definitely no romance.
So there's never
just a lot of
been?
besties. No,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a shame, isn't it?
Super netball team.
You go, Shaun.
Yes.
Move your
two worlds have
move your pool
collided.
noodle.
Game this weekend against Giants. We're hoping to even eclipse the crowd that we had. They just keep growing every week.
Yeah, we're actually tracking really nicely. I think we're almost on par to, if not get close to or break the record that we had last week. So, yeah, we've got the capacity to hold just under 14. So let's get as many there as we can.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great, Sash.
What have you brought in for us?
I've bought some cotton and satin pajamas.
Some West Coast
fancy.
Fever pajamas, Shaun.
Large, if you don't mind.
I know.
Cotton satin, these would be so smooth.
And mine have been specially modified. They come with a bum flap for some reason. I don't know how to take that. We'll talk about that later, Sasha.
She's like, are you sure?
Again.
Remember those are the oldie timely pajamas and the 2 buttons and the bum flap? Because, anyway. This was proving that important back then.
Just in case, easy access.
Okay, Tracy, because it's important to our outfits that you wear.
Well, Sash, good luck on the weekend. We put you through enough.
Thank you,
Good
Sash.
luck
Thanks
against
so
the Giants.
much, guys.
Sunday, everybody. Go and check it out, the RAC Arena. Get behind the West Coast Fever. They're doing great stuff, as always. Thanks, Sash.
Thanks.
Well, we're waiting to hear if Tottenham have signed Ange Postecoglou as their coach. It seems like that's going to be the way, or manager, as we say. Robbie Slater is the man that knows everything about the round ball game. So we thought we'd go to him. Robbie Slater, good morning.
Morning, Shaun, Nathan, and Tracy. Obviously, Tracy's the common sense on the panel.
Oh, thank you.
Always.
sorry.
Always.
Wow.
Thanks, Robbie.
You've never met her, have you?
Listen, I've just come through the obviously Amy there who
Yeah.
contacted me. Now, obviously, the only reason I'm on this show is because of Amy, because she's a massive Spurs fan.
She's a huge Spurs fan. Yeah, and we've been getting in her face lately because, the Spurs have been up and down and all over the shop for a big team like
more
that,
down
Robbie.
than up.
Yeah.
Yeah, more down than up. There's no doubt about that.
Hey, Robbie, before we get stuck into what Shaun wants to talk about, did you watch the last episode of Ted Lasso and did you think it was good?
No spoilers.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Wasn't it really a nice way to finish it?
I loved it.
Don't say anything. I haven't watched the last one.
Shaun, you
Need
said
to
you got a
watch
bit
it.
emotional?
Oh, yeah, it was tough not to shed a tear. I didn't see a death coming.
There was no
Don't say
death.
that, Shaun. Oh, no.
The entire Richmond was dead. There's no death, Shaun. Yeah, it was nice.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, amazing stuff. Yeah.
Did you watch Wrexham as well? Welcome to Wrexham. Have you watched that?
Oh, mate, what a story that is. I'm a big fan of him in Hollywood, but even a bigger fan now because he's football. And, Wrexham will be hoping to do what Luton Town did recently,
Yes.
where they went from the non-league football in 9 seasons and now in the Premier League where the away fans have to go through the kitchen to get into the away end. It's an extraordinary
It's
story.
really interesting because I was telling Shaun I learned all about relegation and stuff while watching Wrexham because I didn't know anything about soccer. And then looking at, really what gets you as a top-tier club is money. And the fact is, if you're on that bottom tier, you've got no way of getting money. But yet, this is such a unique thing for these two guys to come in. They've brought TikTok as a main sponsor. It used to be a bloody a wheelbarrow company or something.
Yeah, aviation.
Aviation
vodka or
gin.
Yep,
so they've got all this, and then also you've got the money from Disney Plus coming. You've got all the world looking at it. So it's crossed over into something that I don't think football has seen before. Is that right? Do you think?
Yeah, look, no, it hasn't seen this Hollywood arrival, of stars, and like you just mentioned, you got TikToks from China, but it's global, and Disney Plus, obviously, has leanings towards Hollywood, and in Wrexham of all places. I mean, have you ever been to Wrexham?
No.
I mean, it's not on your bucket list, I can tell you. It may be now because of Ryan Gosling, but no. It's an amazing story. And look, I think when you see and you look at Wrexham and then you look at Luton, I think that's why people have this love of English football because it's got so many layers to it. I mean, it's the only country in the world that has 4 divisions of professional football. And, in the championships, certainly, second division, from the old days, or League 1 and League 2, which is third and fourth division, I mean, you can get crowds in the third division of 25, 30, 35,000 people. It's just
Isn't
extraordinary.
That insane?
Insane. Luton Town was such an interesting thing because back in the day when we used to play the original FIFA type game on the computer up the road, I'd always pick Luton Town. And because, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, they were a thing.
Oh, were they?
And then they just disappeared because they were rubbish. And them to come up this year is amazing. I was blown away by that.
I think the thing about Wrexham is it really showed me the connection of fans to a
Yes.
club.
Yeah.
I didn't think I got that as much.
But I think it's also like, correct me if I'm wrong, Robbie, but like all these other teams are coming, I guess, to front of mind now. People are learning more about different teams, not just your main players anymore. Even for myself, through our family, we've got a bloke who's from Wolverhampton, so we're learning more about that. I know the Wolves. So
how did you get a person from Wolverhampton in your family?
It's Liam's brother-in-law actually. So shout out to Dan. Yeah. Great bloke, great family. They're all from Wolverhampton. They talk about it a lot, but talking about Wrexham as well. I love the story about Ryan Reynolds though, because I think when he bought Wrexham, Blake Lively had no idea. I think she was so annoyed at him for buying the club.
I don't think he knew what was going on.
No, I don't think he had a clue. I think Blake's pretty happy now.
Oh, yeah. Do you reckon?
Well, I just have to correct myself because when you mentioned Ryan Reynolds, I just thought, oh my God, I said Gosling.
Oh no, it's fine.
You three must have been looking at each other, going, right, Robbie Slater could be the last one here. But interesting you bring up Wolverhampton, Tracy, because I played for Wolves.
Did you?
Yeah, so I went from Southampton to Wolves. I wasn't there a long time. I played in an FA Cup semi-final for them. I can tell you the Wolves fans are mad.
Yes.
Capital M-A-D. And look, you guys being from Perth, I imagine you love your AFL because it's big over there.
Yep.
But I think AFL is the only real game in this country where you get the same kind of passion for following a football team. I know you get it in rugby league in some parts, but it doesn't seem as tribal as the AFL is. But English football is full of those fans everywhere. Like as you've rightfully pointed out now, that in places like Wrexham, which have become world known now because of Ryan Reynolds, correct? It's just amazing. But the thing in England, if you support or you're born in Wolves and you're in your family and you support Wolves, you support them for life.
Yeah,
and that's just the way it goes. And that's the same for every team over there.
I do like that, Robbie. Now, we wanted to talk to you about the fact that Ange Postecoglou could become, it seems like likely to become the first Australian ever to manage an EPL club. Like, this is top flight stuff. This is amazing. And, like, it wasn't all smooth sailing for him. He wasn't looked down upon always like the guru of gurus, Robbie.
No. Look, in fact, he was a guru from the old NSL days where he had success with a club called South Melbourne, one of the powerhouses of the old NSL. In the A-League, when it all began, and looking way back then, over 18 years ago, he worked with myself and Mark Bosnich on Fox Sports for a few years. Yep. There was a joke going around that he was unemployable for some reason. I just think people were scared of his talents because they'd been proven in the NSL.
Yep.
Anyway, he eventually got a job with Brisbane, which were in a hopeless state at the time, and he turned them around and turned them into one of the most successful A-League teams ever. From there, he went to Victory for a short time and then, of course, became Socceroo coach and qualified us for a World Cup and then went through another qualifying camp. No, he took over when we were already qualified.
Yep.
I think from Holger Osiak, who was sacked after 2 6-0 losses to Brazil and France, trying to get through this quick. He then took over, went to the World Cup, went through the next qualifying campaign where he became criticised because the campaign was not going great, and it turned, and myself included, and Bosnich on the panel, and we did Socceroos. There was criticism. He qualified us for the World Cup in Russia, but then left. He didn't go to the World Cup, and took off on his journey, which first was Yokohama, where he won the J League. That was massive in itself. Then to Celtic, which was quite extraordinary, a massive club. In a second-tier competition, you have to say, he won everything with them in 2 years.
Yeah.
And wow, now he's at the top of the tree, one of the big 5 clubs in England. And, this is one of the biggest moments in Australian footballing history, but also Australian sporting history. It's that big.
I know, it's absolutely massive. With a big club like Tottenham, do you get the big paycheck to go with it?
Oh, of course. Well, he would have been on, great money already at Celtic, of course. It's the modern era. There's money. Yeah. They're earning millions. And
but what's the toddy money going to be? What's the toddy money? Talk to me. What are you thinking? What are we thinking? Take a stab.
I don't know, mate. If you look at Graham Potter, who went to Chelsea for about 5 minutes and got sacked, he was on 12 million.
Oh my goodness.
So you're at Tottenham, which is one of the richest clubs in the world. And they want him desperately. So he came in a position of power. So I would be surprised if it's under 10. But, to Ange, of course the money's great. There's no doubt about that. And he won't have a worry for the rest of his life. But he is very motivated. He is very confident in his abilities. His focus will now not just be Tottenham. He wants more. And he'll want to turn around a Tottenham side that has been a shambles this season. There's talks of Harry Kane leaving.
Yep.
That's his first point of order, I would say, is to convince Harry Kane to stay, if that's what he wants. And then recruitment and building in the summer and, to hit the ground running, so to speak, in August when the Premier League will kick off again. And, of course, he'll be under pressure. He'll be under the microscope. He's at one of the biggest clubs. Tottenham, in spite of never winning a Premier League, they want to win a Premier League, or they want to at least be qualifying for Champions League. So, if he doesn't hit the ground running, we know what happens to managers in the EPL. They get sacked. But he'll be very confident. He did it at Celtic. They said when he arrived at Celtic that it was an impossible job to turn around. Rangers had won the league before, the season before, but he did it, and he did it in style. So that's what we'll be hoping he can do at Tottenham Hotspurs.
Absolutely, Robbie. Really appreciate your time. We've got to go to the news. But, thanks for the chat. And, we look forward to following what happens with Ange at Tottenham.
You know what?
Very
Now
exciting.
all I
good
can
on you,
think of.
Troops. Cheers.
Now all I can think of is how much would Ted Lasso have been paid. Anyway, we'll have to think about it. We'll get back with
Great
some
to
figures.
chat.
Robbie
Robbie.
Slater, Fox Sports. Thank you, guys.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.